And when I went to the disability office at York, they asked me if I've applied for ODSP, if I'm on it, and that was part of um, you had to be on disability to get some of the education support stuff. And I wasn't on it, so I couldn't access some of the things. Um, so my plan was to like leave the program for the year and a half, because I had heard it takes a year to get onto disability support and then go back in and finish, but I could never go back in and finish because they can't do anything with my computer account there unless I have this incomplete failed class removed from my academic record. And so that's the disability portion. I have 4 herniated, to back up my application for disability, I had an MRI done. They found 4 major disc herniations in my back. Some of them had multiple fractures, like on both sides where the nerves come out, were crushed and then putting pressure on the nerves. Most people looking at me, they're like, "Oh, you look fit. You look like..." Well, that's because all my muscles are holding up my spine, so they're tense all the time to do that. Otherwise, if I let them go and sag onto my spine, it's crushing. It crushes. It causes sciatica down both legs. I have lots of pain. So, I try to relax in that position, but it's hard. So there's that piece, and then another piece. The 4th reason is my building is an old artist's live-work studio space that got bought by another company in 2012. It got bought by a condo developer who actually developed a condo beside us, and I was experiencing harassment from the superintendent who took the job, and just a general lack of repairs. I've been in my studio living there for 13 or 14 years, and there's issues that arose that we're being dealt with. There's excessive heat, just a lot of things, leaking pipes and stuff. So, and then they started gutting and rebuilding the units around me, and this building is old, like 130-year-old kind of factory building, or was a factory building for making carpets, and it's like a barn where there's just like slots of wood, like with the hayloft, and slots of wood and stuff's falling through, like it's like that. So they put, at least in my unit, they finally put in some extra flooring. They put down a layer of, because also the flooring was like the floorboards were not level, and obviously there's cracks in them and stuff, and I could see right through into the apartment below me. So the noise travel was like pretty extreme and very noticeable, because I was going from working in film 12 hours a day to being at home all the time studying for school. So they put a layer of plywood and then foam and then laminate while I was there, and they did this to all the other units, and the other units below me, beside me, and above me, and I'm sure diagonally below and above, they did the same flooring, at least the one above, beside, and below me. I know 100% because I saw them doing the work. And they also gutted their kitchens and bathrooms and put in everything new. New kitchen, cabinetry, counters, sinks, stoves, the refrigerator, the toilet, bathtub, like all the tile, everything. And I had to live with this construction going on and trying to study a master's thesis, and because of my disability, I can only be vertical for 4 hours at a time. So to go somewhere else and say study here, I can't do 4 hours, I have to do 3 hours because it takes half an hour to get from home to here to back home. So I'm very limited with what I can do, and then that cuts down my study time. And then I have to go home and rest. I have to like sleep for 20 minutes basically, or lie down for 20 minutes not doing anything and focusing on relaxing my back. So to get home, take everything off, have a bite to eat, settle, maybe change into pajamas, lie down. It takes some time. And then if I'm able enough and the pain has gone away, then I can go out and do another 3 hours. Or I can be at home and study for 4 hours. Or I can try lying on my back, and like I even bought a video projector to project diagonally so I can like lean back on pillows and against my couch and stuff, and have my remote keyboard and stuff to be able to work that way. I've hung my laptop on bungee cords from bars in the ceiling to like work on my bed upside down, because I was also experienced being overworked. Like one project I worked 128 hours, and they only allocated like 50 or 60 hours. It might have only been 40, and then I had to apply to the union saying, hey, I fill in my paperwork, I worked this day and that day and that day, and like an extra 3 months because the person wasn't satisfied with the results. And I told them up front that I'm not the project was doing a WordPress website, and I said I could do a WordPress website and I can alter it slightly, but I'm not a web page developer, and there was an understanding there. I developed the website, they weren't satisfied with it, wanted me to actually rebuild the whole bottom end of it, which I was able to figure out like one line of code, but I couldn't change anything else. I just don't know how to write HTML or something, right? Like I'm not a computer programmer, I'm an artist, so I do video art. And they just didn't seem to get it, so at the like I was like approaching 130 hours of work and delaying I was in that class I wanted to like drop out of, so I was delaying while doing my homework, and they were saying, well, do the work for the supervisor because their status, their fame or whatever. And I tried, but I got to a point where like I don't know how to change a font size between Mac and Windows, and I don't have a Windows computer and a Mac, like, and all the devices that are going to look up this webpage on like the different operating systems. Like I couldn't check that stuff, and it has to pass midnight. You enter in some code on WordPress, and it has to go past midnight to revise the website. Sometimes a full 24 hours or 48 hours to update it. So you change one thing, and then you have to wait. And I could change that one thing over and over for every single line or whatever. Say it's like a text size, but then you have to wait to see if it actually took. So I was having that issue, and finally it came to a point where I was approaching that like so many hours of work, and I was in so much pain. I was like lying on the floor at my computer and just trying to like keep typing, and I was like really suffering, and I was trying to like not get a less than an A in this class that I wanted to stay in. I can't remember what the other class was. But I couldn't do it. Like I just couldn't do the work. So I finally said to the person like, listen, you have to hire, like, here's the company I like the best, here's a couple others. You have to hire these people to make your website because I can't make it. Also, he wanted a certain URL, like his name, but another company like GoDaddy or somebody had like bought in the URL and said, if you want to buy it, it costs like $120 or something. And I told him it's been bought in already, and you had to buy it. And he's like, yeah, go buy it. You know, I want to use that. I'm like, well, yeah, but you can buy it from this company. It costs this much. He's like, yeah, buy it. I'm like, well, give me the money for it. Like, I can make the purchase for you, or you can go on and use your credit card and like buy it. He's like, yeah, buy it. Like, he just didn't. He was clueless. Like, he didn't understand he had to pay for the URL because another company owned the copyright to it. So there was this, and then he would get mad at me because I didn't buy the URL. It's like, I'm not giving you, like, come on, a quarter of the income of other grad studies students. I can't physically do any more work than I'm doing for you, and you're asking me to do like 4 times the amount of work that is covered in the payment. Like, the payment was only like $1,500, you know, for like 6 months of work. My rent is $950, so like, it doesn't even cover my rent. Like, I don't know what, like, what am I supposed to eat, you know, like. And then, oh yeah, give him $100 for the purchase of the website name. I'm not sure if I should name names because it's like such a prolific filmmaker in the arts community. And like, he's seen me since then and been like, oh, how are you doing? Are you good? Like, how are things going? And I'm like, you don't even realize how much you fucked me over? Like he's just so oblivious to how he's hurt people, like, and overworked them. Like, so that happened. And then I was on another job that, like, this person was just oblivious to transphobia happening within the equal rights company that she was running, like LGBT rights, human rights company. And I saw outright transphobia happening, and I worked overtime with that job too, trying to learn a new editing system, and I was given media, I imported the media, and then I don't know what happened to the system upgraded itself, and I was grilled about did I upgrade it, and I didn't do anything special out of the ordinary other than turning on this old Mac. Like, I didn't especially tell it to upgrade or do anything. I was given this media, I imported it, and the computer apparently upgraded itself at some point because it took a really long time for it to import the media because it was like 4K stuff, and it was back in like 7 years ago when that wasn't really a thing yet. And yeah, while I was waiting, I guess, because it took about 4 hours or 5 hours, and I was just trying to extract some audio files for somebody else to do like a transcript. They had to type all the words down because it's not automatic like it is on YouTube now. And there was no program. There were some like shady third-party programs that might do it sort of right, but then you have to go through the whole thing and check it. So whichever way the person did it, I think they just like typed along like I tried to do it, but I'm not, like I'm very slow at reading and I'm not fast enough to type as somebody is talking the words. I tried it once on one job and I couldn't. It was too stressful and I couldn't do it. Like I physically couldn't type fast enough, I guess. So yeah, I was just pulling some audio, and I got the things on CDs for the other person. And I guess during that time, this computer did some back end upgrade, and I was fired for it, or let go. I was they leave. I was paid for the work I did, but then again, it was another grumpy person, big name person, video person who like I experienced transphobia from them. I like when I don't know, they seemed really like this person was kind of just grumpy and like super serious, and um, they would occasionally like have a lighter mood, but they were generally really down. So like I would try to be more friendly and bubbly and like make jokes and stuff, or I tried to make a joke once and they like it upset them for some reason. Like I don't even know what it was. It was something around. I think it was something around my own gender or something. And I was just trying to be lighthearted about something, and they just give this stuffy kind of look and stopped being so cordial after that. And then this upgrade happened within a few days, and they accused me of doing it, and I was let go. And the other people who worked there were very, very, very submissive to her and subservient, and like not that I wasn't, but I was associating with them to try to get myself at a level of filmmaking that they were at. So they were kind of a peer, I guess, that I saw myself as an approaching next generation at the same level too. Because my video work was, I would say, better, like on par or better than, well, given the time frame that they did work. I mean, like you're looking at working in the 80s or 90s, and that can only be pushed so far. Whereas I'm doing work in the 2000s, early 2010s, and you can only do so much with what the program can do that you're given. And I'm not a program writer, obviously. But that was also part of why I wanted to go into medical illustration, because I wanted to learn Maya and 3D Studio Max and these programs that now you can learn them at OCAD. I actually took a course in 3D Studio Max at OCAD because I wanted to incorporate those kind of effects, digital animation stuff into my transition video for my master's degree. So I think I'm gonna wrap it up there. That's all I can think of about this topic right now to talk about, and that's as much as I want to get into at this point. And if you liked it or have any other questions about my experiences with disability and queer identity, being pansexual, demisexual, and also being trans, and transitioning in a postgraduate studies program, leave me any questions in the comments below. Feel free to DM me if you want on my Instagram. I'll leave links below. And if you want to subscribe and support my channel, give it a like and hit the bell for notifications.